Welcome to the Bluesky ranking video. This is a video I really wanted to make because I was a fan of Bluesky all the time before they shut down. By the way, I'm finally done with Sky. But Bluesky was a really creative studio in my opinion. I feel like they knew what they wanted to do before they got shut down. And they were definitely an interesting studio in my opinion. So, to celebrate Bluesky, I thought it'd be a great idea to rank every single movie they have. So, strap in and make sure to grab some popcorn. And make sure to have a good time, because it's Bluesky, and they were meant to have fun. So let's begin. I do not care what no one says. This movie is amazing. Sid is the GOAT and will always be my bro. Him and Manny have a pretty good friendship. I do love Diego in this one. His plot might be very predictable, but it's executed well, I guess. Sure, the animation isn't great because it was 2002, but you gotta give them credit because CGI wasn't really the best back then. But no, the emotional damage... I am not joking, I actually cried when watching this scene. It was pretty good and pretty well done. And to make it all better, all these characters were growing throughout the whole movie, which I really love. Soda was a pretty good villain in my opinion, and actually died pretty dark, so... Ugh. The humans were kind of forgettable, honestly. They didn't really do anything. They were kind of like props and to give Manny and Sid a reason to return the baby, honestly. But hey, I do appreciate the mother dying. I do love how they did try to do something with that. Overall, Ice Age is a very fun movie in my opinion. It's not the best when it comes to other studios like Pixar or Disney, but it is one of the best in the Bluesky catalog, honestly. And every single character has great development, so overall, Ice Age is a really good movie in my opinion, and probably one of Bluesky's best. Robots. Yeah, it was a movie. And it's very 2000. I don't think this movie is bad, honestly. It's pretty enjoyable in some parts, but it is a little forgettable, honestly, in the Bluesky catalog. Like, Fender is the funniest part about his whole movie because he was voiced by Robin Williams, the GOAT. Rest in peace, by the way. And the story they're trying to tell here was actually smart and pretty average for a robot movie. But most of the characters in this movie are kind of forgettable, honestly. They don't do much in the movie, but it is kind of forgettable. However, I do love the message this movie was trying to tell, like how you can't let somebody judge you on your dreams and you can chase your dreams. Pretty good. All the jokes in this movie are very shocking to me. They even put this in a kid's movie. The story is kind of simple in my opinion. The villain was actually pretty good in my opinion. Overall, I don't think Robots is a bad movie. It just gets overshadowed by Bluesky's other movies like Ice Age or something like that. So, final thoughts on Robots. It's an okay movie, but it's kind of forgettable. Ice Age 2 was just okay. I honestly do feel like the franchise does get worse after the fourth one, but it's a very slowly decline, so it's not that bad. It just surprises me how much they milked Ice Age back in the day. But surprisingly, every character from the first movie is actually still likable. I do love the plot how Manny and Sid and Diego have to go to the boat to escape the ice from Meltdown. And I do love the addition of Ellie in this movie. She was actually pretty funny at some points. And surprisingly, the Possum Brothers are actually good in this movie. And as you see in this video, that's gonna be the whole reason why these movies keep getting worse and worse. Because of these two motherfuckers. I do have one complaint with the movie. There's a crowd in the movie, and they believed Manny when he said there wasn't gonna be a flood. But when Manny actually figured it out there was gonna be a flood, the animals don't just suddenly don't believe in him. Why? You're literally believing the guy who told you there was going to be a flood, and now when he says, oh, my bad, y'all, there's going to be a flood, let's panic, they suddenly don't believe in him. What? But there is something I will admit. I do love the arc that Diego has to go through. His arc that he is afraid of water and has to face his fear, which... really good, I guess. Oh, and Sid is still funny as usual. The mini sloth scene was kind of weird and kind of felt like it was just something to give Sid a little more screen time, honestly. So, overall, Ice Age 2 is a solid sequel, in my opinion. It's not as good as the original, but it is a little more funnier and does try to go for more emotional stuff. So, overall, Ice Age 2 is a perfect and solid sequel, in my opinion. So, when I was first gonna watch Horton Hears A Who, I thought I would hate it because of, well, some Dr. Seuss adaptation movies, honestly. But actually, this is probably the best Dr. Seuss adaptation we probably got, and this is probably going to be the only good one we get. I mean, if you have Jim Carrey and Steve Carell in the movie working together, masterpiece. There's just no words. It's just already a masterpiece. You don't even have to try. It's just master. As weird as the story does sound to you guys, I think it's actually well executed well. The story might be a little simple and predictable, but at least it's executed well, honestly. Also, the villain is a Karen, honestly. Yeah. The villain was kind of trash, honestly. She was just kind of a typical Karen, in my opinion. And her apologizing at the end for what she did and Horton just forgives her is probably the most stupid thing I ever seen in an animated movie. It seems like the most childish thing to do in an animated movie. The hero obviously wins, and then the villain forgives. Feels jealous and kind of feels sorry. And then the hero just forgives him. Why are we forgiving a villain for what she did? I honestly wouldn't forgive a Karen. The Horton and the mayor actually have a pretty good friendship, and their scenes together are hilarious, honestly. And the animation is actually pretty good. Also, the second villain is voiced by Will Arnett. My goat, by the way. Every time he talks in this movie, it reminds me of the Lego Batman, honestly. So, overall, even though Horton Hears A Who is a good movie in the Dr. Seuss adaptation, it's not the best movie in the entire world, honestly. But overall, Horton Hears A Who is a good Dr. Seuss adaptation. Probably one of the best ones he ever gotten. And sadly, probably the only good ones we're gonna get. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, you guys might think I'm crazy for saying this, and you're probably gonna think that, but Ice Age 3 might be the best one. I don't know how, but I love this movie, okay? I just love Scratch's whole side plot about how he's fallen in love with his other Scrat girl. Oh, I didn't mention Scrat in the intro. Crap. He's pretty funny to see on screen. He's probably the only thing that makes the Ice Age movies, including the fifth one, watchable at the least. I do love how they did give the plot to Sid in this movie, but he was still sidelined for the whole entire movie, which kind of disappointed me. Hey, but there was one good thing I like about this movie. Buck Wild, dude. He was probably the funniest part about this whole movie. I really love him. And including the fact he was voiced by Simon Pegg, dude, the GOAT. Also, all the jokes in this movie are pretty good. I don't really love the thing they have with Manny in this movie. They kind of just make him kind of mad at Diego for some reason, which Diego had a good reason to want to lead the group in the first place. He just wanted to return to his normal stuff he had to do. But then Manny takes it as an insult and just kind of hates him for the whole entire movie, which I think is the most stupid part about this whole movie, honestly. This movie all the time is so hard to explain. It's a dinosaur world under the Ice Age world. And I think that doesn't make sense at all, actually. Weren't the dinosaurs already dead before the Ice Age happened? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. The plot is also a cluttered mess, honestly. But what they're given, they're kind of executed well somehow. Also, Sid is also still funny in this movie, even though he didn't get enough screen time, in my opinion. Overall, this is probably the only good Ice Age movie we got in a good bit, and the rest of them are kind of garbage, honestly. Sid also had pretty good character development, honestly, here. If they would have fixed Manny and Diego's whole, argument thing in the beginning of the movie, this would have been, a masterpiece right next to Ice Age 1, but for some reason, it's kind of a clutter mess to follow, honestly. Also, Ellie is pregnant in this movie. So you're thinking to yourself, why would Manny bring a pregnant woman into a dinosaur world? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with his head. Maybe he's gone cuckoo. I don't know, man. It's weird. Why would he bring a pregnant? I don't know. So overall, Ice Age 3 is probably the best one in the Ice Age series, honestly. As in a movie, it's kind of a cluster mess. But in the Ice Age franchise, peak. Rio was surprisingly a good movie. The music is incredible. The characters are incredible. Everything about this movie is incredible. Leave me alone. Sure, the movie might have a predictable plot with two main couples, but you can't really blame it because of the good animation and the good music. I love these two birds in the movie. They give the good party vibe, and I really like that. Also, when I first watched this movie, when I first heard the words "Blue cannot fly," I was genuinely shocked that a blue macaw cannot fly. And the whole backstory for Blue and explaining why he was with this girl was explained pretty well. The animation is gorgeous to look at. All of the love stories in this movie are good, I guess. I don't really have much to say about Rio. It's a pretty basic bird movie and it could have been worse. So overall, Rio is a pretty good movie.
Here you are on a boat, you're adrift, you're afloat, one might even say you're stuck.
Ice Age 4. Yes, this is a real thing. And actual people made this movie. And apparently, Drake was in Ice Age. So he plays this guy called Ethan, who is Peach's love interest throughout the whole movie. But then Peaches dumps him. So, I really don't know what to think of Ice Age 4, honestly. At the same time, it feels like such a cash grab of movie, but somehow it's not that bad, honestly. I do love the story they were trying to tell with Manny overcoming his fears about his daughter growing up. I don't know why every single sequel has to have a celebrity in the movie, because, oh my god, you know, having a celebrity makes a lot of more money, you know, right? Let me actually talk about the movie instead of Drake for 1 minute. The movie's fine. I honestly thought they would ruin Sid's character by making him very stupid in this movie. Surprisingly, he still acts the same way he did in Ice Age 3, 2, and 1. And we do actually see Sid's parents in this movie for only like 1 minute. And the only reason they were even here from the beginning because they just wanted to drop off Granny. She's kind of crazy, but also kind of funny at the same time, honestly. I will be completely fair. This is probably the best Ice Age villain we probably got, right next to Soto from Ice Age 1. He was an actual funny villain and actually was scary at times. Also, his song goes hard. And surprisingly, there's no conflict with Manny or his friends in this movie. It's just him being overprotective of his daughter, which, thank God, I was tired of Manny being so mean to Diego. I do think the logic in this movie is completely gone, honestly. Like, Scratch just caused the Continental Drift to happen. And I think that's very insane for a kid's movie. Ellie and Peaches were very forgettable throughout the whole movie, honestly. They didn't get a really enough screen time in this movie. And when Gut really kidnapped them, I really forgot about them because they weren't the main focus in the story and they were kind of forgettable. Also, there's this rat in the movie who's voiced by Josh Gad who just wants to impress Peaches. I really didn't like him here. Also, the Possum Brothers are very, very stupid and made me want to actually grab a gun and put it right in my mouth. They do get worse. They get very worse. So worse. I honestly couldn't take this movie so seriously because Drake was in this movie. I'm not even shocked they did it because for some reason, every animated kids sequel got a famous celebrity, and Drake is a real questionable person to cast in a movie. Like, Toy Story 4 got John Wick to play it. So Ice Age 4 was not really that bad, honestly, and it was actually kind of fine. I honestly thought they would stop after 3 because that's kind of a perfect conclusion, in my opinion. But nope. Bluesky just wanted that ching-ching money, you know what I'm saying? And I have a theory how Ice Age 4 was even a thing. So, you know Chris, the CEO of Illumination, the terrible, greedy guy who just wanted to make movies just for the sake of making money? Well, I'm going to assume he went back for working for Bluesky and then convinced them to make Ice Age 4. And it made a lot of money, so that's how Ice Age 4 was even a thing, I bet. Overall, Ice Age 4 is a fine movie, but this is where the franchise starts to get worse, honestly. I'm sorry. I couldn't find anything else. I couldn't find any other song. I'm sorry. Epic! Yeah, I remember this movie. I was in the hospital when it came out. Yeah, it was a movie, alright. I guess it was fine. If there was one thing I really want to get off my back, the animation is so gorgeous to look at sometimes. Some of the plot twists in this movie are pretty good. Soundtrack is also pretty good as well. But there was one thing I really don't like about the movie. I really don't love how MJ is just like brought into this. I really feel like the movie would have been good without her in it because she felt so pointless to this whole movie, honestly. I actually think the villain was actually pretty good in this movie. I really love how his son died in the movie. And that kind of gave him a good reason to be a villain, honestly, because if my son died, you wouldn't see another day of your life. No, but for real, I do love MK trying to, like, bond with her dad. Her dad's kind of crazy. He thinks that, the whole force is, like, a whole town, and MK is, like, baffled to even believe that, and she doesn't believe it. But at the end, she does believe in him and does love him. Oh, right. This is one of the biggest topics when they come into this movie. Beyonce's in this movie. Yes, I'm not joking. The biggest singer of all time, Beyonce, with a capital B, is in a movie for kids. I also love Steven Tyler's character in this movie. He was kind of fun to see on screen. But honestly, this movie isn't that bad. It's just kind of forgettable, honestly, in the Bluesky catalog. It's like, yeah, I didn't know this movie came out. I definitely didn't know it was a thing. And that's all we need to know. But the plot was kind of like, not bad plot, but like, One of the positives of this movie, I think the animation is gorgeous, and I know the animators were probably paid a lot of money for this movie because of how good the animation looks in this movie. Also, another thing about this movie, I don't know why it's called Epic, honestly. Like, I don't see why it's epic. Like, What's so epic about this epic adventure about a movie called Epic? I don't know what Bluesky were thinking about. I think they just wanted to make a movie titled Epic and not actually make a title based off the plot, so... yeah. Overall, Epic is not a bad movie, honestly. It's just kind of forgettable, honestly, but it's not all that bad. Alright, if I had to describe Rio 2 with one word, I think the word's obvious. It's gonna be dog shit. I genuinely think the reason this movie is even a thing right now, I guess Bluesky just wanted to make more money, even though Rio shouldn't even have a sequel. I think it's already perfect as a standalone film on its own. But nope! Bluesky just wanted to make this movie because of the ching, 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 ching. Everything about this movie is garbage, honestly. Everything is still bad, the plot is kind of stupid, and it kind of misses the whole point of the first movie. The whole point of the first movie was to bring back the species of macaws. In this movie, there's a lot of macaws. So basically, the first plot of the whole entire movie can basically just go into the dumpster. And for some reason, there's a lot of stuff happening in this movie. You got Blue hating to be in the jungle and just wants to go home. Then you got Jewel meeting her dad, and her dad hates Blue because he's a pet. And then you got Blue playing soccer for some unknown reason. This movie is a clutter mess. It doesn't know which plot to focus on. It doesn't know what to focus on, Blue, Jewel, or the soccer game. It doesn't know what to do, honestly. It doesn't know what to do. And some of the plots don't go nowhere. Like, Nigel's in the movie for some reason. Why is he in this movie? I don't know why. He basically died in the first movie, but for some reason he just came down from the angels and now he wants to kill Blue again. Why is he even in the... Why? And for some reason there's a forced breakup in this movie. For some reason there's an argument in this movie. So, you know the argument is Blue doesn't want to be in the jungle anymore and just wants to go home, which is relatable. Good. But this crazy Blue macabre thinks that Blue is thinking about himself. Where did you get himself? I swear, this argument is probably one of the stupidest arguments I ever heard come out of a movie. And I heard so many stupid arguments, but this is probably one of the more stupid ones. If there was one thing I really like about this movie, I love how the party animals from the first movie are trying to host like a show, which was really cool. It was probably the only good part about this whole movie. I'm not joking. Nigel didn't really do anything throughout the whole movie. He just kinda exists throughout the whole movie. But he does something at the end of the movie, and that's it. He doesn't really do anything else. Also, Blue and Jewel have kids. They're kind of forgettable, honestly. They're kind of fun on screen, but the movie doesn't focus on them for some reason, which I really feel like they should have because they have kids. Also, the whole human versus bird thing was so stupid at the end of the movie. I feel like it was so useless. Overall, Rio 2 is a terrible sequel and probably one of the worst one Bluesky has ever done.
But I feel better when I'm dancing, yeah, yeah.
I actually really love the Peanuts movie. Even though I'm not really the biggest Charlie Brown guy, I still really love this movie. The plot is alright, the characters are all likable, and all of them have great character development. I love Snoopy in this movie, he's so funny. And Charlie Brown's whole story about how he wants to impress the little red-haired girl was really sweet in my opinion. You know, Charlie Brown kind of reminds me of me. I tried to impress a girl out last week, and she said no. The story isn't high stakes, you know, it's kind of like low stakes, but I think it's all executed pretty well. Also, the animation style is creative and actually brought the Charlie gang to life in a good way, I think. I love the side plot with Snoopy going to World War II. I think that was really good. And the message of the movie is really good for a Charlie Brown movie. There were some things that didn't really make sense to me because I really wasn't a big Charlie fan guy. I only seen like 2 shorts. There's like the Thanksgiving special and like the Christmas special. That's the only things I've seen from a Charlie Brown. From a Charlie Brown? People are gonna get mad at me for that. I don't think this movie is a masterpiece, but I think it's pretty good if you're a Charlie Brown fan, so watch this movie if you're a Charlie Brown fan. I definitely wasn't, but I still kind of like the movie. Also, every character in this movie acts the same way they did in the shorts, which was really nice, and it made me really feel like Bluesky really wanted to respect Charlie Brown here so much, and they really did, honestly. Bluesky probably had the best time of their life making this movie, because it kind of felt like a passion project to Charlie Brown and everybody else, which, really nice. Thank you, Bluesky. Overall, even though I'm not the biggest Charlie Brown guy, I still really like the movie, and it's probably one of my favorites from Bluesky. Let's hope to God they don't mess up the sequel. I am definitely watching the sequel when it comes out. Ice Age 5 is probably one of the worst ones. I'm not being honest, the anger that is about to release out of my mouth. Let's start off with some positives so some people don't get mad at me. First off, the scratch stuff is the only entertaining part. I feel like this was the only good part about this whole movie. Second of all, Buck Wild is back in this movie, baby, because Simon Pegg is the GOAT. Thank God for Sid. He finally found a girlfriend, by the way. Okay, that's it for the pros. That's the only pros I have. Julian is so f***ing stupid. I swear, he is not likable in the slightest. Second of all, there's so many characters. I swear to God, you can replace any of them and it wouldn't matter. Wow there, Brayden. Let's calm down with the anger. Repeat after me. Let's take a deep breath. I f***ing hate that guy. Third of all, the message from the fourth movie is just reused from this one. You see, Manny is afraid of Peaches, Mary, and Julian. I wouldn't be shocked. I hate that guy. But then he has to learn to accept Julian in the family, which I wouldn't accept him because of how stupid he is. Crash and Eddie? Somebody get my gun. Somebody shoot them! I cannot even explain how much I despise these two in this movie. They make the most stupid, childish jokes in this movie, and for some reason they do hashtag jokes. Was hashtag even a thing in Ice Age? The villains in this movie are so stupid. For some reason they turn good at the end. Wait, I'm tired. The pacing in this movie is not good in the slightest. I don't think the pacing is great at all. The pacing is confusing in my opinion, honestly. Yes, the animation might be good, but it doesn't excuse the fact that your characters are not likable in the slightest except for Sid. And you know, it doesn't fix the problem if your animation's good. The ending was garbage in my opinion. I really felt like oh my God, the ending was garbage, okay? I really don't know what Disney sees in this franchise to keep continuing it. I feel like they should have just stopped after the fourth one, honestly. But for some reason, oh my God, they just like money. They like money. They want money. They want money. They want money. Oh my God, they want money. Did I already say they want money? They want money. Okay, let's end this because I am losing my mind over here. Ice Age 5 is a terrible movie in the franchise, and that says a lot. I really don't like it. The characters are not likable except for Sid. He's still my bro. Granny and Sid are the only likable characters here. I love Sid getting his own girlfriend, but everybody else was garbage except for Buck Wild, Sid, and Granny. Big favor, if someone has a gun, please shoot Crash and Eddie! Overall, Ice Age 5 is a horrible movie, and I don't like it. I want it to go to hell. Okay, so before watching Ferdinand, I didn't really have hope in it because I thought it would be a kid's movie that was kind of bad. But honestly, this movie was kind of better than Ice Age 5 in my opinion. This movie isn't amazing, but it's fine. I do love the story about Ferdinand. I guess the message is being yourself, which I guess is simple for a kid's movie, so it's fine. Yeah, I was definitely not the target audience for this movie because this movie was probably meant for babies, honestly. If there was something I had to admit, I guess the animation was beautiful, and that's it. I do love the story that we're trying to tell, but it was kind of bland, honestly. And it was just kind of replaced with comedy, so yeah. I don't know what to say about Ferdinand, honestly. It's fine. But if you have John Cena as your main character, it's kind of boring, honestly. Some of the jokes were kind of for kids, honestly, and they weren't good. Overall, Ferdinand is an okay movie, honestly. It's not an amazing movie, but it was definitely meant for kids, and I'm definitely not for that, so yeah, it's fine. I'm a freak of nature, baby. New dose of danger. So this is Bluesky's last movie. Honestly, this is actually a pretty good movie to go out with. By the way, I'm including Nimona because, well, it was technically made by Bluesky. But back on Spies in Disguise, this is a really good movie and probably one of Bluesky's best movies, honestly. I love Lance and Walter's whole friendship. I think it was probably one of Bluesky's best, right next to Sid and Manny, honestly. The whole plot about Lance getting framed for his crimes was a really good plot. The villain was actually probably one of Bluesky's best, right next to Soto. I really like his motives, and I think he was pretty good. So, I know what you guys are gonna say. Isn't there a blue bird of the movie? Isn't he funny? Isn't he supposed to be the main character? Yes, Lance does turn into a pigeon, but it was actually pretty funny. I like this story a lot. Also, the animation and the emotional damage is really excellent. So overall, Spies in Disguise is a really good movie. And honestly, it's a perfect way to go out with the last studio's last movie. So, yeah, and you can definitely tell Bluesky definitely did want this movie to be good, and it shows. So overall, Spies in Disguise is probably one of my favorite Bluesky movies of all time, right next to Ice Age and Rio. So while I was researching for this video, I actually learned that Nomona went through such a development hell. It got canceled so many times because Disney was already planning to shut Bluesky down, and Bluesky really wanted this movie to come out, and it was ultimately canceled. But then Netflix, the god of Netflix, decided this movie was perfect and not canceled, and they brought it back from the dead. And some of the people who were working on this movie at Bluesky actually got fired because, let's just say Disney closed them when making this movie. So, yeah. But Netflix brought the people back from Bluesky to make this movie, which I really felt like was a sweet thing for Netflix to do. But enough on production hell. How's the movie? Top 3 best Bluesky movies. I know some people think it's not a Bluesky movie, but the Wikipedia said it was, so I'm including it. The freaking chemistry in this movie is so incredible. The comedy parts go very hard, honestly. They're pretty funny. Also, the message of the movie is very good. I really love the message they were trying to tell, and I think they executed it pretty well. Also, the animation is very beautiful. It's honestly just so sad that Disney just didn't want this movie to even come out, and it's kind of sad, honestly, because I really like this movie. I'm glad Netflix decided to save this movie, because I feel like it was the smartest thing they had to do in this situation, which, great, thank you, Netflix. There are some acts that are boring at some times, but it honestly just saves it with the humor, honestly. So, overall, Nomona is probably the top 3 best Bluesky Studio movies of all time. Overall, Bluesky was a really respectable studio in my opinion. Sure, they made some garbage movies like Ice Age 5 and Rio 2, but I think they set out for what they wanted to do. They just wanted to make audience laugh, and I think they probably exceeded for that. And they just wanted to set out with animation to see what they can do, and I think they did a really good job with some of these animated movies, honestly. And rest in peace, Bluesky. You were a great studio in my opinion. Not the best like Pixar or Disney, but you were a respectable studio. Rest in peace. And screw you, Disney, for shutting them down. And that is gonna do it for this video. I am so sorry this video took so long to come out. School's been kicking my ass, and I am officially done with it. Thank you, God. And I'll see you guys next time in the DreamWorks video. That's getting postponed today. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. We're on our goal of 200 subscribers.